An old woman gifted her a magic powder and warned her, "Never use it more than once a day, or you will lose everything." But greed made her forget the warning. What happened next changed her life forever. Stay with me as I share this powerful story that will teach you a lesson you'll never forget. In a small village in West Africa, there lived a young woman named Amara. She was 24 years old, beautiful, and hardworking. But Amara had one problem: poverty. Every morning, Amara woke up at 4 a.m. She walked 2 miles to fetch water. Then she worked in the market, selling vegetables from a small mat on the ground. From sunrise to sunset, she worked. But the money was never enough. Her clothes were old and patched. Her stomach growled with hunger most nights. She lived in a tiny mud house with a leaking roof. When it rained, she had to put buckets everywhere to catch the water. But Amara never complained. She smiled at her customers. She helped elderly people carry their bags. She shared her small lunch with street children. People in the village loved Amara. "She has a pure heart," they would say. "God will bless her one day." But Amara was tired. So tired. One evening, after a long day of selling only 3 tomatoes and 2 onions, Amara sat on her mat and whispered to herself, "How long will I suffer like this? When will life get better?" She didn't know that everything was about to change, but not in the way she expected. The next morning, Amara was arranging her vegetables when she noticed an old woman watching her. The woman was ancient. Her back was bent. Her face was wrinkled like dried leather. She wore a faded gray wrapper and leaned heavily on a walking stick. But her eyes were sharp and bright, like they could see into your soul. "Good morning, grandmother," Amara greeted respectfully, as was the custom. The old woman didn't respond immediately. She just stared at Amara, studying her. Finally, she spoke. Her voice was raspy but strong. "You have a kind heart, child." Amara smiled shyly. "Thank you, grandmother." "I have been watching you," the old woman continued. "For many days, I have watched you. You work hard. You are kind to everyone. You share even when you have nothing." Amara didn't know what to say. The old woman reached into the folds of her wrapper and pulled out a small leather pouch. It was old, worn, and tied with a red string. "This is for you," the old woman said, extending the pouch to Amara. Amara hesitated. "Grandmother, I cannot accept gifts. I have done nothing to deserve." "Take it," the old woman interrupted firmly. "You have done more than you know. Your kindness deserves a reward." Slowly, Amara reached out and took the pouch. It was surprisingly heavy for its size. "What is inside?" Amara asked. The old woman's eyes grew serious. "Inside is a magic powder. A powder that can change your life." Amara's eyes widened. "Magic powder?" "Yes," the old woman nodded. "Every morning, take a pinch of this powder and sprinkle it on whatever you want to multiply. Food, money, anything. It will multiply 10 times. Amara's mouth fell open. 10 times? "Grandmother, this is impossible." "How can?" "It is possible," the old woman said firmly. "I have used it myself for many years. But now I am old and dying. I need to pass it to someone worthy." Amara's hands trembled as she held the pouch. Could this be real? But then the old woman's face became deadly serious. She grabbed Amara's wrist with surprising strength. "Listen to me carefully, child. This is very important." Amara nodded, suddenly frightened. "You must never use the powder more than once a day. Do you understand? Only once. Every single day you may use it once. But if you use it twice in one day..." The old woman paused, her grip tightening. "You will lose everything. Not just the things the powder gave you. Everything. Your health, your peace, your sanity. Everything." Amara swallowed hard. "I understand, grandmother. Only once a day." "Promise me," the old woman demanded. "Promise me on your mother's grave that you will never break this rule." Amara's mother had died when she was young. The mention of her made tears spring to her eyes. "I promise, grandmother. I swear on my mother's grave. I will never use it more than once a day." The old woman released her wrist and nodded slowly. Good. Remember your promise, child. Greed destroys more people than poverty ever could. Then, before Amara could ask anything else, the old woman turned and walked away, disappearing into the morning crowd. Amara stood there, holding the leather pouch, her heart pounding. Was this real? Or was the old woman crazy? There was only one way to find out. That evening, Amara returned to her small mud house. She sat on her sleeping mat and carefully untied the red string on the leather pouch. Inside was a fine, shimmering powder. It was golden like ground sunlight. It sparkled even in the dim light of her small room. Amara's hands shook. Should I try it? What if it's dangerous? But then she looked around her house. At the cracked walls, the leaking roof, the empty pot where she should be cooking dinner. I have nothing to lose, she whispered. She looked at the small bowl beside her bed. In it were the coins she had earned that day. 5 small coins. Barely enough to buy a loaf of bread. Taking a deep breath, Amara pinched a tiny amount of the golden powder between her fingers. It felt warm, almost alive. She sprinkled it on the coins. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the coins began to glow. Softly at first, then brighter. Amara gasped and stepped back. The glow faded. And when she looked in the bowl again, she screamed. Where there had been 5 coins, there were now 50. Amara covered her mouth with both hands. Tears streamed down her face. It's real. It's really real. She counted the coins 3 times to be sure. 50 coins. Exactly 10 times what she had. That night, for the first time in months, Amara bought a full meal. She ate until her stomach was full. She even bought a small cake and cried as she ate it, remembering how her mother used to buy her cake on special occasions. Thank you, grandmother, she whispered into the darkness. Thank you. The next morning, Amara woke up with excitement bubbling in her chest. She took her remaining coins and went to the market. Instead of buying just a few vegetables to sell, she bought many. Good quality vegetables, fruits, fresh fish. Back at her selling spot, she arranged everything beautifully. Then, when no one was looking, she took a pinch of the magic powder and sprinkled it on her goods. The glow came again, quick and subtle. And suddenly, her small pile of goods became a huge display. Customers were amazed. Amara, where did you get all this? Your display looks like a wealthy trader's. Amara just smiled. God has blessed me. By the end of the day, she had sold everything. Her money pouch was heavy with coins. She used the same method every day. Each morning, she would buy goods, sprinkle the powder once, and multiply everything. Within a week, Amara was the most successful trader in the market. Within a month, she had rented a proper shop. Within 3 months, she had built a new house. A real house with a solid roof, glass windows, and a proper bed. People whispered in amazement. How did Amara become so successful so quickly? Some said she was blessed by God. Others said she had a rich uncle who had died and left her money. A few jealous ones whispered about dark magic, but no one believed them because Amara was still as kind as ever. She gave money to the poor. She sponsored children's school fees. She helped widows repair their houses. See, people said, a good heart always prospers. Amara's life was like a dream. A beautiful, perfect dream. But dreams can become nightmares, especially when greed enters the heart. Amara heard about a business opportunity. A traveling merchant was selling a large plot of land in the city. Prime location, perfect for building a big shop or even renting out. But the price was high, very high. Even with all her money, Amara was short. If I had just a little more, she thought. Just a bit more money, I could buy that land. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That night, the temptation became unbearable. What if I use the powder twice tomorrow? Just this once. Just to get the land. Then I'll never do it again. The old woman said I would lose everything, but maybe she was exaggerating. Maybe she just wanted to scare me into being careful. Amara tossed and turned all night. By morning, she had made up her mind. I'll do it. Just this once. Then never again. She woke up and used the powder on her morning goods as usual. Everything multiplied. She sold everything and made good profit. Evening came. Amara was back in her house, staring at her money box. Her hands were sweating. Her heart was pounding. Don't do it, a voice in her head warned. Remember your promise. Remember the warning. But another voice, louder and more convincing, whispered, do it. You deserve it. You've worked hard. This is your chance to become truly wealthy. Rich people take risks. Be brave. Slowly, with shaking hands, Amara untied the leather pouch. She took out a pinch of the golden powder. It didn't feel warm this time. It felt cold. Very cold. Last chance to stop, the good voice warned. But Amara didn't listen. She sprinkled the powder on her money. For a moment, there was silence. Then the glow came. But it was different this time. Not golden and warm. It was red. Angry red. And it was hot. Amara gasped and stepped back. The money glowed brighter and brighter. The red light filled the room. It was blinding. Amara screamed, "Stop! Stop! What's happening?" Then suddenly the light exploded. Everything went dark. When Amara opened her eyes, she was lying on the floor. Her head was pounding. Her body ached all over. She slowly sat up, groaning in pain. "What happened?" she whispered. Then she looked around and her blood ran cold. Her money box was empty. Completely empty. Not a single coin remained. "No," Amara whispered. She crawled to the box and searched frantically. "No, no, no. Where is my money?" She looked around the room. Maybe the coins had scattered during the explosion. But there was nothing. The money was gone. Panic rising, Amara ran to her bedroom. She kept savings hidden in a secret place under her bed. She pulled out the wooden box. Her hands shook as she opened it. Empty. No. This isn't possible. She ran outside to her shop. Maybe her shop money was still safe. But when she arrived at her shop, she found it had been broken into. Everything was gone. All her goods. All her money. Everything. Amara fell to her knees in the empty shop and screamed, "What have I done? What have I done?" She ran back home, hoping somehow she had missed something. But as she entered her compound, she noticed something terrifying. Her house. Her beautiful new house. It looked different. The paint was peeling. The roof was sagging. The walls had cracks. "What's happening?" Amara touched the wall. A piece of plaster fell off in her hand. She ran inside. Her furniture was old and broken. The beautiful bed was just a worn mat. The glass windows were just cloth hanging in the openings. Everything was exactly as it had been before she received the powder. No, it was worse. Amara stood in the middle of her crumbling house, surrounded by poverty once again, and finally The next morning, understood. Amara woke up hoping it was
warning
all
was
a
real.
nightmare. You will
But it
lose
wasn't.
everything.
She was poor
Not
again.
just the things the
Poorer
powder
than
gave her.
before.
Everything.
I still have
the powder, she thought desperately. I can start again.
I'll use it carefully this time.
Only once a day, I swear. She reached for the leather pouch. But when she opened it, she gasped. The golden powder was black now. Dead black, like ash. And it smelled terrible, like rotting meat. "No," Amara whispered. She tried to use it anyway, sprinkling it on her last 2 coins. Nothing happened. The powder was useless.
Dead.
Amara screamed and threw the pouch across the room. But it got worse. Much worse. Over the next few days, Amara discovered the full extent of her loss. Her health began to fail. She developed terrible headaches. Her body ached constantly. She couldn't sleep without nightmares. The kindness people had shown her disappeared. Customers who used to smile at her now walked past without looking. The people she had helped with her money now pretended not to know her. "It's like I'm cursed," Amara cried. And she was. The curse of broken promises. The curse of greed. Amara tried to work, but nothing went right. If she bought 10 vegetables, 5 would rot overnight. If she earned money, She would lose it somehow. Her pocket would have a hole. Or someone would steal it. Or she would drop it without noticing. It was as if the universe itself was against her. 1 month passed. Then 2. Then 3. Amara became thinner. Her clothes became rags again. Her house continued to decay until she had to move back to a small mud hut twice and her original
Amara
hit rock
People
bottom.
who used to call her
She
blessed
had nothing.
now whispered
Not
that she
even
was
hope.
cursed.
One
And
evening,
deep in her heart,
she sat outside
Amara
her mud
knew
hut,
they were right.
staring at the sunset. Tears rolled down her hollow cheeks. Why didn't I listen? She whispered. Why was I so greedy? I had everything. Everything. And I threw it away. She remembered the old woman's words. Greed destroys more people than poverty ever could. She was right. Amara sobbed. She was so right. I was poor before, but I was happy. I had peace. I had dignity. Now I have nothing. Not even my self-respect. As darkness fell, Amara made a decision. I need to find that old woman, she said. I need to apologize. Maybe she can help me. Maybe she can break the curse. But where could she find her? The old woman had appeared like a ghost and disappeared the same way.
Still, Amara had to try.
It was her only
For
hope.
weeks,
Amara searched for the old woman. She went to every market, every street, every village nearby. She asked everyone, "Have you seen an old woman, very old, with bright eyes and a walking stick?" But no one knew who she was talking about. Some people thought Amara was going crazy. The curse is making me lose my mind, Amara thought in despair. Then one day, an elderly man stopped her. Why are you looking for this old woman? Amara, too tired to lie, told him everything. About the powder, about the warning, about her greed and the curse. The old man listened quietly. Then he said, I know who you speak of. Amara's heart jumped. You do? Where is she? Please, I need to find her. The old man's face became sad. She is dead, child. She died 7 months ago. Amara felt the world spin. Dead? No, that can't be. But the old man continued. Before she died, she told me something. She said, if a young woman comes looking for me, crying about a broken promise and a magic powder, tell her this. The curse cannot be broken by me. It can only be broken by her. She must learn the lesson. She must truly change her heart. Only then will the curse lift. Amara grabbed the old man's arm. What lesson? What must I do? The old man looked into her eyes. You already know, child. Deep in your heart, you know. Then he walked away, leaving Amara alone with her thoughts. That night, Amara sat in her mud hut and truly reflected on everything. What is the lesson? She asked herself. What must I learn? She thought about her life before the powder. She had been poor, yes, but she had been content. She had been kind. She had been grateful for small blessings. Then the powder came, and with it, wealth, but also greed, dissatisfaction, the constant wanting of more. I forgot to be grateful, Amara whispered. I had been given a gift, a miracle, and instead of being thankful, I wanted more. I broke my promise because I thought I deserved more than what I was given. Tears streamed down her face. The lesson is gratitude,
Contentment.
keeping promises, knowing that enough is enough. For the first time in months, Amara felt a small peace enter her heart. I understand now, she said. I truly understand. From that day forward, Amara changed.
Really changed.
She stopped chasing wealth. She worked honestly with whatever she could find. If she earned enough for one meal, she was grateful. If someone gave her old clothes, she thanked them sincerely. She began helping others again, even though she had almost nothing herself. If she had 2 pieces of bread and saw someone hungry, she shared. She kept every small promise she made. If she said she would do something, she did it, no matter how difficult. Days turned into weeks. One
Weeks
morning,
into months.
9 months
And
after the
slowly,
curse
very
began,
slowly, things
Amara
began to
woke up
change.
and realized something. Her headaches were gone. Her body no longer ached. For the first time in months, she had slept without nightmares. Is it possible? She whispered. She went to work that day with a small hope in her heart. A customer bought vegetables from her and paid fairly. No tricks. No stolen money. Just an honest transaction. At the end of the day, Amara counted her earnings. It was small, but it was honest. And for some reason, it felt more valuable than all the multiplied wealth she had once possessed. Day by day, little blessings returned. A kind woman gave her some good fabric. A farmer hired her to help harvest, paying her generously. Her small mud hut stopped leaking. Nothing miraculous. No magic powder. Just honest work and small blessings. And Amara was grateful. So grateful. 1 year after breaking her promise, Amara was not wealthy. But she was surviving.
She was healthy. She was at peace.
And that was worth more than all the magic in the world. Years passed. Amara never became rich again. But she lived well. She had enough. She was respected. She was known once more for her kindness. One day, a young girl approached her in the market. The girl looked desperate, hungry, struggling. Something about the girl reminded Amara of herself years ago. Amara bought the girl a meal. They sat and talked. "How do you survive?" the girl asked. "How do you stay happy when life is so hard?" Amara smiled gently. "I learned a very important lesson. Would you like to hear it?" The girl nodded eagerly. "There are 3 secrets to true happiness," Amara began. "First, be grateful for what you have, no matter how small. Second, keep your promises always, no matter the cost. Third, know that enough is enough. Greed will destroy you faster than poverty ever could." The girl listened carefully. "Is that all?" "That's all," Amara said. "But it took me losing everything to learn it." The girl looked confused, but Amara just smiled. "You'll understand one day. Just remember, the greatest wealth is contentment. The greatest power is self-control. And the greatest wisdom is knowing when to stop." As the girl walked away, Amara looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, grandmother, wherever you are. Thank you for the gift. And thank you for the lesson. I finally understand." A gentle breeze blew past her, warm and comforting, like an old woman's approval. And Amara smiled.